My sister ruined my life because our parents favor me over her. English is not my first language and I'm a wreck, so sorry if some things don't make sense. I, 25F, have always been in competition with my sister, 27F, since I can remember. I was a baby born after a miscarriage our mom had, so my parents were very happy and shifted their attention away from my sister and onto me. I want to clarify that I never took joy in this, and I knew that I was favored over my sister due to unfair circumstances. I tried to connect with her growing up because I considered her a really cool person, but she always seemed uninterested, which only made my parents chew her out for hurting my feelings. Obviously that only caused her to hate me more. When I turned 15, I completely stopped engaging with her. My parents didn't push for us to be friends either and kept their attention on me, which has always bugged me because who wants to be coddled and surveillanced 24/7? Anyway, things went alright for me and I eventually got myself into a good college and my parents offered to pay for everything, food, rent, school supplies, etc., since I wanted to move out of their house. I wanted to be independent, so I declined, but when my sister heard of this she was understandably mad, as they had refused to pay for anything and told her she needed to learn responsibility by paying for her own things. She blew up at my parents, but mostly at me for stealing away the attention of our parents her entire life and making her miserable. I tried to explain that I agreed that they were bad parents and that she deserved better, but she just told me to shut my whore mouth and that she didn't need my sympathy. My parents forced her to apologize and threatened to cut contact if she didn't. I agree that she was harsh, but I understand how frustrated she must have felt her whole life, so I don't hold it against her. Since she didn't have much of a support system other than them, she sent me a super long apology over text and tried to mend things. Though it was obviously she only did it just because she was forced to. During the first few months of college I ended up meeting a guy named John, 26M, and we started dating shortly after. Everything just clicked and it seemed like he knew my every thought. At my 20th birthday party, I introduced him to my family and everything seemed to go well. I kept my family and John separate because my parents were always super nosy and my sister seemed extremely judgmental when I would bring company. This time around she was super friendly though. Looking back, my sister was definitely a little too touchy with him, but I chalked that up to her just wanting to overcompensate to mend our relationship further. After I graduated, John ended up proposing and I said yes, as I was head over heels in love. We decided on having a wedding once we had secured good paying jobs and things seems to be perfect between us. Flash forward to 3 weeks ago and I got the most gut-wrenching message of my life. It was from my sister telling me that she was pregnant and it was John's. In addition to that, she sent screenshots of messages and explicit images between the two. They professed their love for each other multiple times and John said that my sister was the best he'd ever had in his life, despite him saying the same to me. It had been going on for majority of the years we'd been together. To say I sobbed my eyes out would be an insulting understatement. I asked her how she could do this to me and she replied, "Now you know how it feels to get your whole life ripped away from you. He loves me more and I'll make sure he leaves your sorry ass for me and our baby. Go cry to our parents and see if I care." And then blocked me before I could respond. I screenshot a lot of it before she did. The bastard I used to call my fiancé came home hours later from work and saw me crying. He begged to know what was wrong and tried to comfort me, but I blew up at him and kicked him out. It's my apartment that we share. He admitted to the affair over text and said he loved me but loved my sister too and had to be there for his child, so the engagement is off. His brother came and took all his stuff and he hasn't even given me an apology for any of this. I've been crying for basically a month straight and all I want to do is beat the living crap out of my sister, but I know I would go to jail, especially since she's pregnant. I used to look up to her so much and I thought that things were finally looking up, but then she decided to backstab me, and for what? Mommy and daddy's love that I never wanted in the first place? I barely even like my parents either because of their behavior, but I'm the villain? For fuck's sake, you'd think an almost 30-year-old woman would seek therapy or talk to me directly about her resentment, but no, she had to sabotage my life for the sake of hers being shit. I can't even feel any sympathy for her anymore and I just want to go away forever. I've had extremely alarming thoughts, but I've just resorted to locking myself in my room all day since I work remotely, and it's calmed down in the last few days. My sister unblocks me occasionally to keep rubbing it in my face that he chose her over me, sending picture of them together and her baby bump. I've already blocked her to make sure she leaves me alone. She's a grown woman, for God's sake, gloating like child. If he's willing to cheat on me for so long, I feel incredibly bad for their baby, but definitely not for her. I haven't told my parents yet and I'm unsure how to even go about it. They'd 100% take my side, but they aren't good people, so I don't want their shitty support. I haven't told my friends and I don't have a therapist. I want to tell someone, but this is so incredibly humiliating that I can't bring myself to do much but cry and drown myself in work. I saw myself growing old with him and having my sister as a bridesmaid, like I really thought we'd grown past our issues, but now they're both together and left me to fend for myself. Again, this is so goddamn humiliating, but I need to talk to someone.